A game so massive it needed a whole show to itself. We're going to talk you through everything that we learned about Bethesda's incredible looking new action RPG at Starfield Direct. That way you'll be ready to shoot for the stars when it arrives directly onto Xbox and PC Game Pass on September 6th. Since this is a role-playing game, the first thing to do is select the role that you'll be playing. The character creator for Starfield draws from a diverse array of facial scans to make sure everyone can see themselves faithfully represented on screen. Its simple but sophisticated tools allow you to precisely engineer each element of your character's appearance if you want to, or just rattle through the whole process quickly if you'd rather get into the action. Either way, the same scans were repurposed for the game's endless cast of NPCs, so you might just bump into a familiar face somewhere out in the galaxy. But the customizing naturally doesn't end there. You'll also be able to pick a backstory for your character, which will affect dialogue options and how other characters treat them. Whether you're a former chef, a reformed gangster, a humble pilgrim, or a hard-working long hauler, you never know when your background might come into play. Even hotties like us know that looks aren't everything, so you'll also need to outfit your character with some personality traits. You get to pick 3 from a wide range of personality quirks and backstory details, all of which come with a mixture of advantages and disadvantages. For example, Hero Worshipped will give you a superfan who follows you around, giving you gifts and generally helping out while also being very annoying about it. But don't worry, there are ways of getting rid of any traits which you decided aren't worth the trade-off, although they aren't always pretty. Goodbye, dear friend. Goodbye! Once you've made your character, you'll need to decide where to take them, and Starfield offers a truly mind-boggling range of possibilities. There are over 1,000 planets that you're able to freely travel to, each with their own distinct biomes based on their distance to the nearest sun. Everything from the animals and plants you encounter to the lighting has been painstakingly calculated based on the planet's atmosphere makeup and the stars around it. It's incredible stuff that simply would not have been possible at any previous time in gaming history. You can scan each planet before touching down to get a sense of the resources that you'll find there, as well as whether or not it is inhabited. And once you're on the ground, you're free to do whatever you want. Mine for precious metals, hunt down deadly animals, meet the locals, build your own outposts, battle hostile inhabitants, and so much more. The game builds out planets as the player explores, with a clever combination of handcrafted and procedurally generated content that means no two players would have the same experience, even if they were to chart exactly the same path across the stars. Because that's the most important thing about Starfield. It's your adventure, and it plays out however you want it to. And it's not just down on the ground where stuff happens. Traveling in between planets is an adventure in its own right. Starfield puts you right in the cockpit, giving you complete control of all of your ship's systems, so that you can decide which ones to prioritize power for at any given time. Boosting your grav drive will make it easier to make a Star Wars style hyperspace jump to a planet that's far away, while powering up your weapons and shields will be necessary if someone attacks you. And to be clear, lots of someones are going to attack you. Loads of them. But that opens up all kinds of possibilities too. You can blow them to bits and then loot the remains from the comfort of your cockpit, or board the enemy's vessel, wipe out the crew, and claim the ship for yourself. Although, that's not the only way to pick up a new set of space wheels. Ships make up a huge part of Starfield, serving not only as your means of transport, but as the hub where you and your crew can hang out. Head to any of the game's many spaceports and you'll be able to swap between any of the ships in your fleet, or sell off those that you don't need. Most importantly though, you'll be able to upgrade them, and the possibilities here are insane. While you can just choose to upgrade individual systems, the shipbuilder mode lets you get truly modular, swapping parts in and out pretty much however you like. Your imagination really is the only limitation here. Whether you want to build the galaxy's most formidable fighter or just make your ship resemble a platypus as much as possible. You can even fully customize the ship's paint job to make sure that it looks exactly the way it does in your mind right now. Of course, a ship is only as good as its crew, and you have plenty of people to choose from when it comes to recruiting crew members and companions. Vasco, for example, is a helpful robot with a knack for deadpan line deliveries and one heck of an uppercut. He can even say your name, so he'd get the Destiny's Child seal of approval, if nothing else. But you'll find plenty of other characters to recruit, both at spaceports and strewn across the galaxy. They've all got their own unique skill set which you can take advantage of either out in the field together or by leaving them on one of your ships or outposts to help run things. Naturally, many of them are also romanceable, including a rather fetching space cowboy. Sadly, not everyone in the galaxy is out there looking for love, although this will provide you with a wonderful opportunity to test out the game's many combat options. Bethesda have completely revamped their shooting gameplay for Starfield, providing an experience that's slicker, more fluid, and more satisfying than anything prior. Plus, they've shoved in a dizzying amount of weapons for good measure, all of which you can mod to within an inch of their life, with everything from silencers to explosive rounds. That means you can pick the tools to suit your playstyle, and there are also a huge range of unlockable skills to help you further tailor your fighting style, with options for stealth, shooting, and straight up brawling, depending on how you want to play. Whether you want to punch everything in sight, deal death from above, or smooth talk your foes, it's all up to you. However, you might want to tailor your approach to your environment. Different planets have different levels of gravity, and you'll even find yourself fighting in 0G at times, at which point it might be best to give the grenade launcher a rest. The new skill system lets you rank up each skill by completing challenges related to them, meaning you'll always be getting better at the things you love to do. Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, even if what you love is springing from vents like a frighteningly realistic Among Us character. Of course, it wouldn't be a Bethesda game without some top tier storytelling, and Starfield is just packed with places to go, people to meet, and fascinating tales to unfurl. You'll start off in New Atlantis, the biggest city that Bethesda have ever built, and a place that's just stuffed with characters, quests, and reasonably hip looking coffee shops. There, you'll join up with an elite group of explorers known as Constellation, as they try to find the answers to humanity's biggest questions. But you'll also be free to find your own place in the galaxy. Maybe you'll enjoy the rustic, Wild West vibes of the Freestar Collective. If law and order is more your thing, the shimmering, highly civilized worlds of the United Colonies might be more your vibe. And if you're looking for a place where anything goes, be sure to swing by the City of Neon. Wherever you go, you'll encounter all sorts of stories, big and small, just waiting for you to play your part in them, whatever that might be. This year's showcase gave us a better sense of the amazing range of things there are to do, see, and fire lasers at in Starfield, and yet we still get the feeling that we've only just scratched the surface. But since the game hits Xbox and PC Game Pass on September 6th, it won't be long before we find out exactly what the galaxy's got in store for us.